Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stomp This Way. Dylan, how are you today?
I'm making it.
Making it?
How are you, Andrew?
I'm good.
It's been a hectic week, I think,
We've all been busy.
for two of us at least. Andrew.
I finally got to go back to work, and I worked 6 days in a row, and finally had 2 days off, so this episode will be coming out late. I apologize.
And I have been actually working in an office setting.
Office?
Wow.
What? Not in my pajamas at my set up at my house? What?
Are you having to wear your mask at work?
I had to wear my mask at work, and usually if I was like, you could take it off in your cubicle, but since I'm training somebody and we have to sit within 6 feet of each other or whatever, I had to wear it all damn day. As soon as I walk out that door, I'm like, I can breathe.
I understand the feeling. I also have to wear my mask all day long at work, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But we're not here to talk about viruses and pandemics. We're here to talk about the first Godzilla anime film?
Yes.
Yes.
Godzilla, I guess the official title is Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. I usually abbreviate it as Godzilla Monster Planet, which is also something that I've seen on other places. Because Planet of the Monsters is just too many syllables. When the Japanese title, I mean, if you were to directly translate it word for word, would be Godzilla Monster Planet. So I don't know why Netflix thought it necessary to.
Well, Netflix also has this first movie labeled as the first part of a TV series.
Listen, some poor unpaid intern was like,
Who says they're unpaid?
Some poor unpaid intern was like, okay, I don't know what pre-formatting to select for this thing. TV episode part 1, Netflix original series.
Good enough.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway. I also found the rating kind of funny. TV 14 for
fear.
For fear? Fear of what? I'm not really sure. There is a scene, I think, that probably warrants it when someone shoots themselves in the head and blood splatters on the wall, but it's not TV 14 for violence. It's TV 14 for fear.
What are we afraid of?
Yeah,
I can think of a couple things I'm afraid of.
Incest. But that's not really made clear until the second movie. But anyway, some quick trivia. This is the first animated Godzilla film. Not the first time Godzilla has appeared in animation. Obviously, he has been into at least 2 animated TV series prior to this.
One which was a spin-off of the 98 Godzilla movie.
Yeah, and then the 70s Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Toys.
And he's also, I think, made like cameo appearances in some Japanese anime before this. But this is the first anime devoted to Godzilla, as far as I'm aware. And the first animated film, or anime film, obviously. So Godzilla making progress. Originally conceived as a 13-episode TV series.
If only, then we wouldn't have to talk about it.
Or would we? Then you had to watch 13 episodes.
No, it's not a movie, see? See, if we're talking about reviewing TV series, then we gotta go back and do the animated TV series.
Who says we aren't?
I gotta go.
It was announced in August of 2016 as a upcoming film. In March of 2017, it was revealed to be a trilogy. The composer Takayuki Hattori had previously composed the scores for Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla and Godzilla 2000, so he is an established Godzilla composer. And there is a prequel novel called Godzilla Monster Apocalypse. I believe it covers the, whole intro of this movie where Haruo is talking about, the monsters destroying Earth or whatever. There ended up being 4 tie-in novels to this movie trilogy. Unfortunately, they have not been translated to English in any official format as far as I can find. Otherwise, I would probably actually read them, even though I'm pretty sure they're probably not any good. But
That's
it's
rude
what it is.
to assume.
It is rude to me.
You know what happens when you assume?
I have also watched these movies though, so
fair.
I've
seen this one.
I've seen Box Office. This was released in Japan on November 17th, 2017 as a limited theatrical release. Made around $3 million when it was all said and done. Made around $245,000 in its Chinese box office run. Made available worldwide on Netflix on January 17th, 2018. In terms of tickets sold, again, reminder, this was a limited theatrical release. It is the 3rd least successful Godzilla film, beaten only by its 2 sequels. But anyway, we are going to listen to the trailer. Then we're going to come back, read off the cast and crew, read off the plot summary, and we will talk about how we feel about Godzilla's venture into the anime format. See you in a bit.
20世紀最後の夏、その日初めて人類は地球という惑星の支配者が自分たちだけではないと知った。俺たちが奪われたもの。
長きにわたる放浪の末、地球に戻ることを決断した人類。しかしそこは2万年の歳月が流れていた。
信じられんな。これが本当に地球の植生か。奴は決して人類を見逃さない。
なんだ、動体反応接近しています。
取り戻す。必ず俺たちの手で。
目線反応退避しろ。ここは俺たちの故郷なんだぞ。俺は貴様を。ゴジラ怪獣惑星。
Alright, we're back.
Alright, we're back.
This film is directed by Hiroyuki Sashita and Koben Shizuno. I don't know.
Those are new people.
They are new people. Written by Jin Urobuchi.
Sure.
Music by Takayuki Hattori. And starring, and I put since we watched the dub, and since they are only voice actors in both versions of the film, I have put the Japanese voice actor and the American voice actor. So here we go. Haruo is voiced by Mamoru Miyano or Chris Niosi.
Sure.
I struggled more with the English name than the Japanese name. Metfies is voiced by Takahiro Sakurai or Lucian Dodge. Martin is voiced by Tomokazu Sugita and Edward Bosco. Mulu is voiced by Junichi Suwabe or Jameson Price.
Mulan?
Mulu. Railu is voiced by... What is the evolved form of Pikachu? Raichu. Railu is voiced by Kenta Miyake or Rich Brown.
Rich Brown.
That's a very American name. Yuko is voiced by Kana Hanazawa or Christina V. Adam is voiced by Yuki Kaji or Robbie Damon. Elliot is voiced by Daisuke Ano or Ray Chase. Umberto, I don't remember who that was. Umberto
I don't know.
is voiced by Kinyu Hiruchi or Keith Silverstein. Halu, or Halu, I'm not really sure, is voiced by Kazuya Nakai or Doug Stone.
Doug Stone.
Doug Stone.
That's a porn
And then-
star name I've ever heard one. Doug Stone.
And Enderfei is voiced by Kazuhiro Yamaji or Joe Ochman. Yes, I don't remember
Any of
who those characters really are, but we're going to talk about it, but I have a hard time telling all these characters apart in this thing. But anyway.
Racist.
It's not racist, they're animated.
Alright, guys. I'm going to butcher this.
Go for it.
22 years after abandoning Earth to Godzilla, humanity, along with two alien races known as the Exif and the Bulisoludo, are adrift in space and running low on supplies and morale. After a young captain named Haruo maps out a method to defeat Godzilla, the commanding officers of the Aratrum decide to return to Earth. Upon arrival, a military force of 600 individuals is sent to the surface to take care of Godzilla. But once on the ground, new problems reveal themselves. First of all, they discover it has been 20,000 years on Earth since they left. In that time, new species have evolved, including large dragon-like creatures that attack their camp and damage their landing vehicles, stranding the battalion on the surface. After the commanding officer is killed during the first encounter with Godzilla, the second-in-command, Exif Prophet Metphes, bestows command to Haruo, who leads the survivors in a last-ditch attack on Godzilla. His plan is successful and Godzilla is killed. However, they soon realize that was only an offspring of the original Godzilla, as the creature that ran them from their home rises from the earth and lays waste to the troop. Haruo swears revenge as credits roll. In a post-credit scene, we see Haruo has been rescued by what appears to be a young native girl as the screen fades to black.
Ooh, set up for a sequel.
Yay.
That we're watching in a couple of weeks.
Yay.
All right, Dylan. Were you excited to see Godzilla in animated form? No? Okay. So, this film, I was excited when they announced it. I was excited to see it, obviously. I was excited to see Godzilla. What could they do with Godzilla in an anime format? I think we'll save the animation style for the effects section of this podcast. But even story-wise, I think they failed. First of all, because if you're gonna make an anime, you might as well make an anime, but you might as well just go all out. But they've instead kind of opted for this more traditional kind of, I would say kind of like Avatar-ish style sci-fi film where where slow-paced sci-fi film, I guess is what I'm going for. Instead of this crazy, wacky anime movie that I kind of wish they would have done, where, we have this opening sequence where our main character, Haruo, is immediately unlikable because he's a terrorist. He is threatening to blow up his ship if they send this shuttle of old people down to this planet to see if it's inhabitable. So he's a terrorist. And
he's also crazy.
He's insane. He's literally nuts. This character should be institutionalized, and he is leading a military battalion by the end of this movie. But whatever, we'll keep on rolling. And he never gets more likable at any point in the movie.
None of the characters are particularly likable in this movie at all.
I
only knew 3 of the characters' names. I feel like, and this is probably more for the effects part, but I feel like they had 3 or 4 basic CGI models, and then they did a lot of just minor alterations. Give that one different hair.
Some of them are blonde, some of them
give that one slightly different eyes.
Have a little bit of wrinkles on their face.
Give that one a different eye color. No?
Basically. And so we realize, we have this big data dub sequence where we have a flashback where...
It was 5 minutes long where we're learning about what all happened.
Yeah, and basically, in a series of events that this is what this movie should have been about and would have been way cooler, basically we learned that Earth was besieged by a whole army of giant monsters, and at some point...
Including Hedorah and some other ones that name drop some OG monsters.
We see Hedorah, they say Hedorah, we see the silhouette of I saw Kamacuras.
I saw one of them was maybe Destroya, possibly.
Maybe I saw Orga. I know for sure. I think they've renamed them in their little news headlines or whatever. But one of them looked like Orga. We see several giant monsters, and then at the end, Godzilla showed up and
attacks this airport where they're leaving from.
And we see a sequence where Haruo is a little boy being led by his grandpa that died on the ship that got sent down to the planet that he was all upset about. And his parents are in some kind of convoy heading towards the airport, and it gets destroyed by Godzilla. And that's where his hate comes from. His burning, deep, unsatiable hate for Godzilla.
Just pure rage.
Pure, unadulterated rage that will continue until the literal end of this trilogy. And that is his whole character. Like, his whole character is, I
he
hate
goes from-
Godzilla.
He has no arc in this film whatsoever. He starts out an angry individual in this movie and gets angrier as the movie goes on.
He-
To the point where at the very end of the movie, he is laying in a pile of rubble and he's like,
I kill you! Yeah.
I'm like, chill, bro.
But then this movie, after that flashback sequence,
Slams on the brakes.
I'm talking like, we literally, like, nothing happened. I mean, there is an attack by these metallic dragon creatures at one point.
Yeah.
But until around, what did I say, I think I said the 53, that was about like what, the first 10 minutes we were talking about?
Yeah.
It's not until the 53-minute mark that it's not until the 43-minute mark that this dragons attack. It's not until 53 minutes in that Godzilla actually shows back up. And what's in between those two marks is a lot of
talking about
a lot of mumble jumble about, they kind of brush over this, but there's 2 other alien races on board this ship with them who had come to Earth to assist/invade Earth, but were also, destroyed by Godzilla. And one of them is, like we talked about, the Exif, who are like these Aryan-looking religious people.
Yes.
And these others are these Klingon-looking, they're the Bilosaludo or something. They're like these Klingon-looking mofos. And they're here. I mean, they'll play bigger roles in the sequels. But they're here. And Metphies is obsessed with Haruo.
He's very handsy.
Very handsy, like any good priest. And,
can't say things like that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord. We're burning.
Yes. But no, he's very, like, he's obsessed with Haruo. Like, he's like,
Literally.
like, he treats him like he's he's literally Christ. Like, he is the savior.
At one point, he's like, I only put my faith in
And you.
I'm like,
Okay.
oh.
Okay.
And so,
There is a scene in this movie where he literally won't stop touching him. I'm like, bruh.
it's like, get your hands off me, bro. But I guess Haruo has to take it because he's feeding him information.
And continues to get angry.
He just reads more and gets angrier. I mean, every shot of him, literally, he has his eyebrows drawn. He's got this angry look on his mouth. And he's yelling half the time. And he's growling the other half. But yeah, and anyway, after they get to Earth because they decide, like, they kind of cut. It's kind of a rub. Like, we see, like, their council or whatever they call it, like, arguing about whether or not they should go to Earth. And then, like, the next scene, they're like, okay,
We're going to Earth.
we're going to Earth. We're
you're like-
get the hyperdrive ready or whatever.
They're like, okay, by the time we get there, it'll be 1,000 years on Earth.
Yeah, they changed this date to 3 times.
They're like, okay, so then they go through this warp speed or whatever,
Yeah,
right? Okay,
yeah.
Star Trek.
Let's start it.
They get there, and they're like, it's been 10,000 years.
And then, like,
And then they go down to the planet, and they start analyzing things. They're like, it's been 20,000 years!
19,200 to be
Give or take
exact.
50?
Give or take your 50. I'm sorry. Margin of error there. And yeah, and once they get to the surface, they realize that, okay, first of all, they send drones down, and it picks up Godzilla. And my first question is, I mean, you know where Godzilla's at.
So, like, why land right there?
Why can't you just go to the other side?
Why don't you go to, like, a different part of the planet?
And, I guess the prophet people argue that Godzilla will never leave them alone or whatever. But whatever. And
He's a monster.
He's a monster. So they devise this plan. There's only 4,000 people left on this ship.
4,000.
They're going to send 600 of them down as this big military operation to kill Godzilla. So they get down there and they realize, I don't know, there's some weird stuff. Like all the plants have turned metallic or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
And are super sharp.
Sure.
And they get attacked by these dragons at some point, and it damages their... Like, for a military operation to go kill Godzilla, they're very underprepared for anything. Like, they get ravaged by these dragon creatures.
Yeah.
So now their ships are too damaged to go back up into the atmosphere. And so they have to go meet up with their other... other battalion troop groups, and on the way there they encounter Godzilla, and their commander gets killed. So Medphys is taken in command, but however, I'm telling you, this dub, I mean, it's obviously less distracting than like a live action dub because, you know, even when they're speaking Japanese, there doesn't really match the lips of the animated characters. But whoever dubbed it likes to reuse words a lot. I did a however count, and I'm pretty sure I missed a few because we were talking over it. But I counted 14 uses of the word however.
At one point, this Medphys character uses the word however like 4 or 5 times in like the span of 2 minutes.
And at one point, he ends a sentence with it.
Yeah, he's like, I guess the captain or whatever dies, the first captain dies, he's like, and he has left me in command, however.
Stop. Full stop.
And I'm like,
however
what? Just, however. I'm like,
they use this, what is it?
It's said as if he's going to continue his sentence, too. It's not like
he's left me in command, however. It's like, he's left me in command.
However. I'm like, however, what? It's all about the emphasis.
Yeah. And what's the thing? They're Galvatron's a transformer.
Galvatron's a transformer.
Gammatron.
I don't know.
Calculation. They say that a lot.
Galvatron. Transformers.
Yeah.
If only we were watching animated
That'd be
Transformers.
way better than this.
Yeah, but anyway, I forgot. So yeah, Medphys is like, I'm gonna give command to Haruo, who was a prisoner. Like, he's been in handcuffs up until this point because he's a prisoner.
And this chick behind him's like, you can't do that.
Yeah, this chick who's like
also obsessed with him.
Yeah.
She talks about
doesn't?
in this film. She mentions her grandpa dying, but you're not really like, they don't really ever make it clear whether it's the same grandpa as his grandpa. But in the sequel, if I remember correctly, it's made pretty clear that they shared the same grandpa, but they also
Have a sexual relationship.
At least a physical relationship. I can't remember if they ever get to the home run or not, but yes. So that's weird. But I guess, in their defense, Dylan, there's only 4,000 people to choose from on this whole damn ship. So
No.
I'm sorry.
There's natives on Earth.
We'll get to that. It gets better, trust me.
Oh no, it doesn't. Oh no, it doesn't.
But yeah, so
he gets command,
and
so
I love
he gets up and gives this very Independence Day-esque speech.
Yeah, only it's not Bill Pullman.
It's not Bill. It's no Bill Pullman.
It's no Bill.
And they're all
inspired,
I guess.
So they're like, yeah. And so he formulates this plan.
Plan is a nice word, kind word.
They
have some kind of plan where like he realized that right before Godzilla shoots his ray, that his electromagnetic field has a hole in the dorsal fins that they can use to shoot things into him that will blow him up or something. Well.
And so they do that, and it's not working. So then he's like, I got it. The ships that brought us.
Yes.
We're going to carpet bomb this motherfucker.
So they carpet
bomb him and force him into this canyon thing?
Yeah, all Godzilla Raids Again style. They carpet bomb him, and there's an avalanche of rocks instead of ice this time.
It doesn't work.
But it holds him down long enough for them to him to jump on his back in these Avatar-like robo-suit things. And
literally straight up stolen from Avatar.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And and then a bunch of them do it, and they get these things, and anyway, he blows up.
Yeah.
Godzilla blows up when he tries to use his ray, a la Giant Monsters All Out Attack. So Godzilla's dead, the movie's over.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Now, I will say, okay, so
this last 10 minutes is the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
Literally, it's literally the last 5 minutes before the credits start rolling.
Yeah, it starts playing at around 12, 11 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. So they have this one guy whose character I don't remember his name.
He's not important.
He gives this big talk about, yeah, you know what? I actually think that was an offspring of Godzilla, which they kind of hinted at that earlier in the movie too. But he's like, Because Godzilla has been 20,000 years. He would look different, so that would make no sense. And of course, as soon as he says that, conveniently, this actually the best. Like I said, I think the last 5 minutes of this movie goes a long ways of trying to save this movie. A really cool score, pieces of music from
The best part of it. We'll talk about
from
the score at the end.
from the composer starts playing, and Godzilla Earth rises from the earth.
Big boy.
Biggest Godzilla ever at 300 meters.
It's like over 1,000 feet. That's a big boy.
He rises from the earth, and he just obliterates
Decimates everything.
everything.
Yeah.
And there are actually in the sequels. We'll find out there's more survivors than we're led to believe at the end of this movie. But we see, he just wreck everybody. Some cool new powers. He's got like this laser tail thing.
Oh, it's pretty dope. And then Haruo gets trapped under some debris.
And he has a really angry look on his
And
face.
he yells how he's gonna kill Godzilla.
I'll kill you, you bastard, or something.
like that.
I don't remember. But
And then
and it cuts to black.
cuts to black.
And this pop song plays. We see some credits, and then there's a post-credit scene.
Where Haruo wakes up.
He's being stripped of his suit,
He's been stripped of his suit.
and there's
He
this.
wakes up and he sees this native girl. She's wearing a mask.
She's got a mask.
And then she takes it off?
She's social distancing. She's got a mask,
She takes it off. And
and
she looks up and says, "Oh."
and she's like orange with some tattoos or something.
She's tan.
She's tan. Okay.
And she goes, "Oh."
She's also got green hair.
You're like,
You're like, oh, just wait.
"Oh."
Just wait. It gets better.
No, it doesn't.
It gets better.
No, it gets worse.
Just wait.
It gets much worse.
So that's this movie in a
movie.
nutshell.
That's not a nutshell. It's pretty broken down.
It's pretty broken down.
Yeah.
But
Literally.
I just
It's boring.
it's boring.
Literally nothing happens for almost 50 minutes of this movie. And then when it does happen, it's kind of like sprinkled action for like 30 minutes almost. Of just random stuff like, and with inner cut scenes of Haruo being like, yeah.
I must go Godzilla. And then the last 25 minutes is just them like bombarding Godzilla.
And then you're like, all right.
And
then Godzilla Earth shows up and you're like, thank God something interesting.
I'm not really invested in any of the action until
I could
Godzilla Earth
give
shows
two
up.
craps about anything
They have
that's
these
going on in
kind
this
of
movie.
like they have these battles in the air with these bikes and these dragons. It's very
kinda cool.
Avatar-esque again.
It's straight up from Avatar.
And it's fine, I guess. I mean, it's fine. I think a lot of my problems have to do, again, we'll talk about this in the quote-unquote effects section, the animation style. But I'm just never really, like I said, until Godzilla Earth, I think they do a pretty good job of putting together this last 5 minutes with like the ominous score, the slow build of it, and the way Godzilla Earth wrecks everybody. I think they actually execute that pretty well. But until the last 5 minutes... Oh God! Just let's get to the point already. And like we said, none of the characters,
which is a really big problem that it's so boring because the movie's only like an hour and a half long.
it's not even 90 minutes. Like, and part of the problem is like none of the characters are memorable or likable. Like the only one that I even am semi interested in at all is Medfees, just because he's kind of mysterious and kind of like
And
this
he keeps talking about this
creepy religious
he keeps talking
figure.
About God.
Yeah,
And
God.
you're like, who's God?
Who's God?
We'll find out later.
We'll find out later.
I already know.
And he has a great respect for Godzilla, obviously. He has a speech during this whole Godzilla Earth sequence where he talks about the bringer of destruction, the something.
And he calls him King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters. Oh,
You're
King
like,
of Monsters. It's like, but he's kind of interesting, but literally, like Haruo, he's so dour and so angry all the time. Like, I'm
He
just
has
like,
one emotion the entire movie and no character arc, no development.
yeah.
He's
And
the same person.
Like I
from
said,
the
he's literally he's either a terrorist or he's certifiable, and I'm still
Or
not really
both.
sure, or both. And I'm still not really sure how.
And we give this man leadership.
we give him command.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Whatever.
And there's a bunch of other characters running around, but they all kind of look the same, and I don't really know what their purpose is or what they're doing or whatever.
But anyway, are we done with that? You want to move on to creature design?
we can move on to creature design.
You'll talk about Godzilla first.
We can talk about Godzilla. I think the first one is Godzilla Philius,
The little one.
the normal sized one.
The one that attacks it during the flashback.
Yes, and the one that's in this movie
Yes, for the majority.
until the last 5 minutes. I mean, he looks
He looks like Godzilla, obviously
fine.
animated.
He
He
got
looks almost like gravelly.
Yeah, and he's got like these like
armored Godzilla.
like he's got
Yeah.
these great. They're not like they don't look like scars. I don't know if this is on purpose or a fault of the animation, but it looks like just scratches. Like if you scratch something metallic or like a rock, it's got like that white scratch left on it. He's got like a lot of those, and he looks kind of I don't know. But he looks kind of fine. His face is kind of creepy, I'll say, when like they look at him straight on, and he's got like those big black eyes. And, it's kind of creepy.
But he doesn't come across as like reptilian like he does in like he has in the live action movies that we've watched. He's very much looks very rigid.
Yeah, and he like his heat beam is more
It's
of a
not
laser
really-
beam.
It's not
Yeah.
really well, he doesn't even really have an atomic breath in this
No.
movie. He charges up, and it's kind of like at the end of King of the Monsters, where he kind of just whoop 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 poof, and he sends out like this like big burst of energy in 360 degrees.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he does have a laser that comes
Yeah.
out along with it, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is.
And
He's interesting.
he's fine.
He's fine.
He's all right.
My thing with Godzilla is like, I don't know if this was budgetary problems, time problems, or just artistic choice. I'm gonna say mostly probably time and budgetary related, but Godzilla moves so slow. Like every motion he makes is so slow. Like it takes him forever just to like turn his head to the right. And I don't know. It just makes for very boring action because you're like, well, it's gonna take him 30 seconds just to even turn his head to look at you. So you're not in any immediate danger. But yeah, whatever. And then we have Godzilla Earth that shows up. And
He's
again,
a big boy.
basically a larger version, but he looks more like he's Godzilla Earth. So he's kind of earthy. Like he looks like a bunch of like he looks like if you put a bunch of tree trunks together and made the move. I don't know. He just kind of like earthy. I don't know. But basically it's just a larger version of the other one. But he has like
He's like
pupils.
a Torterra garden
Yeah.
from Pokemon, but Godzilla shaped.
But he has like he doesn't have like the black eyes. He has like white with pupils, and I don't know. It's kind of odd looking.
He's
but-
an angry boy.
And he's angry because his son is being killed, and he's pissed about it. But then we also have those dragon creatures, which are like metallic
They look like
dragon things.
rocky or metallic, like pterodactyl type things.
They look
Yeah.
alright.
Kind of, they look very similar to the creatures from Avatar, the flying creatures from Avatar, just rocky or metallic or
Metallic.
something.
They have red eyes.
Yeah.
They're
Fine.
flying creatures.
They're
They're
fine.
fine, I guess.
It's fine.
Fine.
Some cool vehicles. We got ripped straight from Avatar, all of them. We have the drop ships that look like they're from Avatar.
Yeah.
We have the bikes, the little motorbikes they fly through the air.
Those aren't really from Avatar.
No, but
No.
But the mech suits that they wear,
Yeah.
straight from Avatar.
literally straight from
There's
Avatar.
little like rolling gun ship things, kind of from Avatar.
Something. There's some Star Wars-y stuff kind of too.
Yeah.
Some of the drop ships kind of look like Star Wars, and some like the bikes you could say look like the speeder bikes from Star Wars, kind of.
Yeah.
It's all fine.
It's fine.
Nothing
It's
super
fine.
special. Anyway,
it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Effects, I guess we'll really call this animation style section. I don't like this new trend in anime of this CG anime.
Like this 3D animation
Yeah, I mean, and they do it.
versus like hand drawn 2D.
Yeah, versus like the hand drawn animation, like, and they did this for the Ultraman anime, Netflix anime too, and I've seen some other animes like it. It's just, well, first of all, you limit yourself because hand drawn. I mean, I'm not an expert on animation, but I assume with hand drawn animation, like, you're not really constrained by budget because you're drawing it. So it's just
You're
really
more constrained by time.
as long as you have time to do it, you can do it well. But when you do CG, obviously.
There's only so much money for people to sit there and
animate
generate
this stuff,
things.
and it's a lot more time consuming, I would imagine. And like I said, I just don't like the animation style of this movie. Like, all the characters look like they're the same, built off the same CGI model. Godzilla and all the other like vehicles and stuff, like the animation looks so stilted, like it's so slow when they move, and I don't know, it just doesn't look good.
No, I'm not the biggest fan.
I just don't really. And I mean, some of it looks kind of cool. Like, there's some cool shots, like individual still shots.
Like, so, I'll give them credit in certain aspects of the movie. Some of like when they're leaving during the flashback scene, when they're leaving Earth. Like, when you're looking at Earth behind it and the ship flying through the air, almost looks photorealistic sometimes.
It looks, when there's no like humanoid creatures on screen or something.
Some of it looks kind of photorealistic. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just, It's all very rounded and everything is very rounded and glossy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But score?
Score.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's kind of all over the place.
Definitely not this man's best score.
I don't think it's as good as his Godzilla 2000 or probably even his Space Godzilla score.
I like the piece of music that he plays during like the last 5 minutes or so when Godzilla Earth shows up. Is really cool.
Very ominous, very foreboding. I like that. That is a good piece of music. But the rest of it is, I don't know. It's just it doesn't always really match the scene.
No, some of it's very electronic. Most of it's very electronic.
And then some of it's more traditional score like. Some of it's kind of riffs from Star Wars a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of it sounds very similar to his Godzilla 2000 score. Which the first time I watched this, I was like, that sounds like this. Some of that sounds like the Godzilla 2000 music. And I was like, oh, well, it's because there's a reason. Makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not
good.
It's
so,
not
you know.
bad.
But y'all ready for some final thoughts?
I guess so.
Andrew, what did you think?
Well, I think it's a movie.
It is kind of.
It's an anime movie.
Kind of.
It's alright. It's decent for a Godzilla movie. The animation's a little rough. The movements are slow for Godzilla. He's not a fast boy.
No.
He's slow. And the vehicles, they are ripped off of Avatar a lot.
Yeah, they are.
I'm gonna give this movie a C+.
A C+.
Seems kind of.
Dylan, what do you think?
Seems kind of high. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
It's not
a collection of animated images
Yes.
that contain Godzilla for about
Occasionally.
25 minutes of it.
Yes.
Kind of.
You're spouting facts. Yes.
This movie contains no characters that you should care about at all.
We got 2 more movies to flesh them out,
Yeah.
Dylan.
No, we don't. We have 2 more movies to have the same character arc for Haruo. He's just going to continuously get angrier.
He has an arc of sorts by the end of the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
He comes to respect Godzilla.
Not exactly.
He comes to hate Godzilla even more.
It's pretty amazing what he decides to do. Like, you'll just have to watch it.
Oh, it's going to be horrible. No, this movie's boring.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really boring. Literally nothing happens for the first almost hour of this film. And then when it does happen, it's pretty boring still. Until about the last 5 minutes. The action is just not, it's not all that engaging. I mean, I guess part of that has to do with the animation. I'm not a fan of this 3D CGI animation style.
Yeah.
It works for cartoony movies. I mean, I wouldn't call this, like something like, like the 3D animated Disney movies that we have. The animation style works for that. Like say something like a Wreck-It Ralph. That's a 3D CGI animation.
Yeah, but
That's completely different style. That's a completely different style. This is meant to look like an anime, but because they're doing this 3D CG animation, it doesn't look like an anime at the same time. I mean, I'm not an anime expert. I don't really watch it, but I mean, I know what it should look like. And this ain't it, Chief.
Well, it's not even like, my big thing is like, it's not even, there's very little resembling an anime, like, and obviously the term anime just means, like, it just means a cartoon from Japan. So, I mean, it meets those criteria, kind of. But, like, most Japanese anime, like, they're wild off the wall, and this plays it
generally
very safe.
2D hand-drawn animation.
Yeah. Like I said, there is more of a trend now towards this kind, but yeah.
I don't know. It's just, but like I said, the action is just not entertaining per se until Godzilla Earth shows up. It's constant bombardments of just random explosions and people shouting.
Haru like, I'll kill you!
And ripped off vehicles from Avatar running around everywhere doing things.
Yes. Hey, at one time, one of those things like drifts
Whoa.
around a corner.
Whoa.
It's pretty cool.
You got me, bud. Yeah, I'm sold. But no, like, none of these characters are interesting. I mean, like, I guess, like you said, Metphis is probably the most interesting character just because he's kind of mysterious as to, like I'm kind of, obviously I know who their god is, quote-unquote god that they're supposedly worshiping. Because I've seen bits and pieces of the last one when you guys originally watched it. But the mystery and intrigue kind of what's going on with them is something.
Something. It's a hook to bring you back for the next one.
No, it's not.
In theory.
But I don't know. It's just not an entertaining movie per se. It's not engaging. We don't have characters that you care about. None of them have stories or arcs. I mean, like, our main character literally goes from pissed off to even more pissed off by the end of the movie. And it's just not engaging. Godzilla looks alright. Godzilla Earth looks cooler, I guess, to a degree.
Kind of.
I don't like the dragony things. Really? They're Avatar, but metal or rock or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't care for the animation style. I'm just not a fan. Yeah. I don't care for it. I really do. The characters are hard to tell apart, other than like 3 of them. You're like, oh, that's that guy, that's that guy, and that's that guy. I couldn't tell you any of the names except for like 2 or 3 of them maybe. And the score is just wildly all over the place. It's like trying to be traditional, but also like super electronic and future-y at the same time, other than like the last piece of music, which is really good. I enjoy a lot after Godzilla Earth shows up, but other than that, I'm not a big fan of it. Overall, I mean, I think the movie's pretty lackluster. It's interesting to see Godzilla in this medium as opposed to live action. I just wish it was done better. I'll give it... I'm not gonna be this, man. I think I'm gonna give it a D+.
A D+, okay. Yeah, I still think peak Godzilla in the animated medium is probably still the 90s, or I guess it came out in early 2000s spin-off.
You just bought that?
Yeah, I did. It hasn't come in yet. Of the spin-off of the 98 Godzilla, actually, believe it or not. I was excited to see Godzilla in an anime, but they didn't go the right direction. To do it with this like safe, kind of slow build story, first of all, is a mistake. When you have so much freedom with animation style.
I think it would have been cool had we taken Godzilla and gone a more traditional campy kind of route.
Yeah.
Like something maybe not as like cheesy and childish as like a Showa era film per se, but kind of in the same vein.
Like One Punch Man, but with Godzilla.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's what we want. Yeah, this story it's so boring, and it's like you said, we don't have any characters that we care about to carry us through it. Our main character is so unlikable throughout the whole movie. The only character, like we've talked about, that I have any vague interest in is Metphis. He's kind of mysterious and kind of creepy.
Very handsy.
Very handsy. And, I don't, like we've talked about, I don't like the animation style. I think it's really a big barrier for me to liking this film. I wish it was the more traditional hand-drawn animation. I think not only would it look better, I think it would have saved them a lot of money. And I think it would have made for a better film overall. Yeah, I'm very disappointed in this. And I was very disappointed when I saw this film for the first time. I was expecting to at least be passively entertained, but oh my God, when that 50-minute mark rolls around and Godzilla still hasn't really played a part in this movie, I'm just like, oh my God.
Get on with it.
Let's get on with it. Literally, that big exposition data dump at the beginning about all the giant monsters destroying Earth would have made for a better movie than what we got here. A much better movie. Like I said, I think the last 5 minutes goes a long way to trying to save this movie, because I really do like the last 5 minutes. I think it's actually a pretty good sequence when Godzilla Earth shows up and just wrecks everything, and the score improves with that great track, and Metphi's big foreboding speech about the whatever he says, "Oh King of Monsters" or whatever. And so yeah, that's cool, but like I said, that's literally the last 5 minutes of the movie, and I can't excuse the hour 20 prior to that or whatever, And like you said, for this to be a less than 90-minute movie and for it to be so boring, it's pretty disappointing. It's pretty bad damnation of this movie. So yeah, it
feels so long.
It feels like it goes on forever. And I got bad news for you. The next one's like 15 minutes longer. It's the longest one.
Yeah.
So Yeah, if you think this one drags, sorry. Preview for the next film, the Godzilla film we're gonna do, and then the post-credit scene. It is kind of interesting. Like, it kind of piqued my interest. So, like, ooh, there's natives, pretty native girls on this island. On this planet. It's kind of convenient that they happen to be in that same location that they are. But
She
whatever.
literally goes, ooh.
She's like, people. But
Boys. No.
get it. We'll have 100 minutes in a couple weeks to explain all that to us. So don't worry.
Oh, wait.
But yeah, this movie it was a big disappointment. And yeah, a lot of the cooler stuff is ripped from Avatar. There are some cool still shots, some cool frames of this movie. If you want to pause and look at the pretty scenes, but overall, it's pretty much a disappointing mess. I'm going to give it a D+ as well, I guess. So, yeah.
But what do we have next week?
Next week is actually really exciting. I believe the next 3 non-Godzilla films we're going to watch are all 3 films that I have not seen. Starting next week with it's either Scottish or Irish, one of those. It's a found footage film called Troll Hunters. I guess it's like a horror comedy, but it's about these, I think they're Scottish people that go troll hunting for giant trolls. So I haven't seen it. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a fun ride.
We're going to watch it.
We're going to watch it. And then the week after that, we're going to watch City on the Edge of Battle, which is the next animated Godzilla film. And then we're going to watch, I believe, 20 Million Miles to Earth, I believe. And then we're going to watch Planet Eater or Eater of Planets or whatever the third one's called. And then we're going to watch, I believe, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman in that order or some order pertaining to that.
Something like that.
So, yeah, exciting times. And then we'll be getting into... We only got 2 Godzilla films left. Did you ever believe we'd get down to the last 2 Godzilla films?
I can say I'm probably one of only a small percentage of the world's population that is going to have sat through all 35 Godzilla films.
You are probably correct. Pretty small percentage, but yeah.
Am I a better person for it? Probably not.
Yes.
I have sat through some art. I have sat through a lot of garbage.
You watch your goddamn mouth.
I've sat through... Sorry, not garbage. I've sat through a lot of mediocre films.
It takes a special person to enjoy some of these movies.
Some of the ones that have been really bad have been entertaining, though.
This is true. I believe that. But you know what? We'll kind of talk about our journey as a whole when we get to the end. But we still got a few weeks before we get there, and then we'll get into our big Gamera blowout. So that'll be exciting.
No.
Yes. It will. But anyway, some quick news.
For this anime movie here in about 4 weeks.
Yeah. You better best believe it. This is not really monster related necessarily, but there are giant sandworms involved. The Dune trailer dropped today.
Denis Villeneuve's new sci-fi epic. Based on Frank Herbert's novel.
Yeah.
Looks interesting.
Looks like it could be...
It's got a heck of a cast.
It's got an amazing cast. Looks like it could be a more faithful adaptation than David Lynch's attempt.
Film?
Does David Lynch make films, or does he make a series of...
Connected images?
I think he...
Connected images?
I think he himself prefers to describe his films as moving paintings.
I've seen Mulholland Drive.
God, I love that.
I think Dune is probably his most...
I think Dune is his most quote-unquote traditional film.
Yeah.
Although I have not seen Elephant Man. I hear Elephant Man's more or less a basic, pretty typical... I mean, it's a good movie, but it's like a pretty traditional movie.
Fair enough.
Blue Velvet is... You can kind of follow it from point A to point B to point C, which is more than you can say for most of his movies. But we're not here to talk about
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about David Lynch. No. Unfortunately, we're here to talk about giant monster movies. But Dune, you do get to see the giant sandworm in the trailer.
It's cool.
It looks pretty sick. Not gonna lie.
It's a lot different than the version from David Lynch's film.
Yeah,
David Lynch's giant sandworms look a lot like if you've seen the episode of SpongeBob with the Alaskan bullworm.
Oh yeah, like I was gonna go much dirtier. They look like a certain type of something you'd find in an adult toy store. But yes, these look like giant. What are those, osprey or whatever? Those little shark sucker things. But
kind of, yeah. Like if you took the thing from Return of the Jedi in the sand, but like pulled it out and it happened to have a whole worm body behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which You didn't actually see anything but a giant hole in the original version of the movie. They just added that in the when George Lucas did his little thingy thing.
Yeah.
Special edition.
Thanks, George.
What is that thing called? The Starlight Pit. Yes. God.
Yeah.
I'm a bad Star Wars fan. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Starlight Pits either.
But other than that, Anaconda is on Netflix now.
Yeah, it was like their number 6 trending thing in the U.S. the other day. It's got Jennifer Lopez, one of her earlier roles.
It's got Ice Cube.
It's got Ice Cube and also one of his earlier roles.
But most importantly, it's got John Boyd.
John Boyd doing a horrible accent, but it is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And it also has Owen Wilson.
It does have Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Owen
It
Wilson.
also has the guy who plays the dad and the hunter guy from the original Jumanji. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, that guy.
If you've seen the original Jumanji, the guy who plays Alan's dad.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got an all-star cast.
It's got a great
It's got
cast.
an all-star cast there. I don't know what they paid John. I would like to see the check they wrote to John Boyd.
How many zeros would you like?
How many?
How many can you afford to give me?
I need this chain of zeros to be as long as this anaconda, okay?
Best we can do is 7 zeros.
I don't think this movie had that kind of budget. Anyway, damn. We might cover Anaconda eventually.
At some point.
But other than that, I think that's all
When
we got.
get really desperate for content.
Yeah, I think that's all we got for you this week. We, again, apologize for coming out a little bit late.
We're busy.
We are busy. We will try to get the next episode out to you at this relatively the same time, probably.
At some point.
At some point. But again, next week, Troll Hunters. You can find it on Amazon.
It might be late, too. I don't know my schedule yet.
You can find it on Amazon for a decent price on Blu-ray if you want to watch it, or you can probably stream it.
But while we're at it, let's go ahead and plug some stuff.
Well, if we ever get back to our YouTube channel,
If we can get back to our YouTube channel, we're very busy individuals. We will review Christopher Nolan's new film Tenet, as well as other things that we are looking forward to. We're gonna have to look at the schedule here in a little bit and rearrange some stuff since some stuff has been taken off the slate, but we will figure it out. But that is DNA Film Reviews on YouTube. You can also follow us on our social medias. Those are also all DNA Film Reviews on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But if you want to follow us on our social medias for this, we are at Stomp This Way on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So make sure you give us a like or a follow. Be sure to tell your friends about us.
That's right. You can also contact us at stompthisway1954@gmail.com if you have any particular questions and or comments. We also have a website. Andrew, where's that website?
That website is at www.stompthisway.podbean.com.
That's right. And on that website, you can find backlogged episodes, grades for previous films, our full schedule of events.
Subject to change.
Yes, very tentative. But aside from that, Tenet. Yeah,
Tenet.
we watched Tenet.
We have. I've seen it twice.
I have seen it twice as well, and I am still confused as hell.
But it's good.
Yeah, kind of. I don't want to get into an argument over that. But anyway. But yeah. We'll catch you guys next week with Troll Hunters. As always, thank you for listening. I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dylan. We'll catch you in the next one.